Okay, I think we got most everybody in through the front doors now. So thank you for your patience. Like to again thank everybody for being here. We got a really great program put together, and I know we have a lot of Jaguar people here. We got a big event that's going on tomorrow out here next to the pavilion. And what I'd like to do is take just 1 minute of time to bring out Dave Kirkman to give you guys some instructions for tomorrow.
Hey guys, can you guys hear me? Okay, if not, I'll put the mic down. I don't even need a mic, but here's the story. Tomorrow, for all the JAG people, the OV starts 8:30, 9 o'clock. The chief judge says rags down at 11:30. Uh-oh, somebody's waving a hand. Yes, sir. Chief judge says 11:30 for rags down. The OVs tomorrow morning. Lunch is at 11:32, and we'll start judging at 1 o'clock. Is that good? Oh, and I want to thank all you folks for coming. We've got folks here from 15 states and 3 foreign countries. So thank you all for coming.
Okay, so I'll kind of go through a little quick today, a little quicker than normal, so we can get to our guests here. But hopefully you guys got a chance to see the current exhibits that are out there, especially the Roar of the Jaguar. So I'd like to thank Eric Smith and Dave Kirkman for helping pull that exhibit together. And I'd also like to thank some of our lenders that are here. So I think I saw George Keller in the audience and John Gillespie and Mike Grosso up there. I know they're here, and obviously Kim also loaned a car too. So thank you for being kind enough to loan the cars. You can go on our website, see what we got coming up in 2025, but the next one's going in is the Cannonball Runs. So this weekend we'll be pulling out what's in the Great Hall, and we have Cannonball Run cars going in. Now then, you'll see we had Mad Max was last month, but this month we got a nice scary movie called Christine. Maybe you guys have heard of that. And so that'll be a fun movie for you guys to come and see. And I'd like to thank Styles Auto Care. Without their support, we couldn't do these Tireside chats that we do. So thank you very much for all of your help doing these. And now what I'd like to do is introduce Ken so that he can go ahead and get to the speakers and get to the program. So thank you very much. And at the end, we will do questions and answers because we know you guys will have lots of questions for these guys, and we'll have 2 microphones that will pass out. So thank you very much. Go ahead, Ken.
That was the shortest introduction I've ever had here, which is great. Thank you all for coming. We're starting a little later than we usually do. We've learned that moving Jaguar owners into the auditorium here is a little like herding cats. We normally start at 7, but we'll make up for it for you. I want to introduce Wayne Carini, who needs no introduction, former host of Chasing Classic Cars and a media personality. That all I can tell you is if you ever go to an event with Wayne, just stand back and watch the autographs fly. But Wayne is extremely knowledgeable, and I'm very glad that he's here and appreciate it. And I want to introduce Kim McCullough, who I have known through many iterations. Kim has worked at Toyota and Mazda and Nissan and Land Rover Jaguar, always in marketing.
Clearly, I can't keep a job.
But she's totally in demand, and she's a real enthusiast with her Jaguar XK120 outside there, a 32 Ford that she's taking to the Race of Gentlemen. She's the real deal, and I know how much many of you are liking the new design direction for Jaguar, so we'll have a chance to talk about that
You're
tonight.
jumping right in.
We have to keep it loose. So let's start with an easy question. How many of you people out there either have owned a Jaguar or currently owned a Jaguar?
Wow.
Good. That'll make it easy. And I want to apologize for one thing before we start. I'm from Massachusetts. We say Jaguar, and I have never learned to say Jaguar. I'll do my best, but it's a car that I absolutely love. And when you think about Jaguars, they came from really humble beginnings. I mean, swallow sidecars and customized Austins, and then easing into SS1s and SS100s, and then the fabulous 120 in the E-Type. I mean, amazing history. So I guess I want to ask our two guests what they think really motivates collectors of Jaguars. Why do people collect Jaguars?
Do you want to start that one?
Ladies first.
Ladies first?
Ladies first.
So I think with anything that you're collecting, it's what connects with you emotionally. So it may be something that you experienced back in your youth, or you knew someone that had one, and it was always kind of on your list if someday you could have it. I mean, the XK120 that we've got, that was built before I was born, but I just love the styling of it. And it just is an attraction. And so I think for people choosing Jaguars, it's something that speaks to them in some way. And the driving experience is amazing. So I think it's some connection, whether it's emotional or a past experience.
Wayne, what do you think?
Yeah, I think a lot of it started, of course, with famous people that own the cars. Clark Gable, Dave Garroway, Steve McQueen, Phil Hill. Everybody loved the Jaguar. To me, though, it's a connection that somebody says, what car are you after? I said, I don't know, but I'll tell you when I see it. So it's the beauty of the car, and Jags just had it and continue to have it as it's going on. And the XKEs were just the most fabulous looking car, way ahead of their time. The 120s are so beautiful. One of my favorite cars in the world is a 120 coupe with spats and hubcaps on it in black. Just a beautiful car. I mean, it sort of reminds us of Fagoni and Fallaci styling, and a Bugatti of the same earlier era. So very beautiful cars.
Yeah.
Well, there's another dimension which you all know. When you think about Bentley, they made their bones, if you will, winning Le Mans in the 1930s several times in a row. Jaguar did the same thing in the 1950s. They won it in 51, 53, 55, 56, and 57. And this is a little British company in Coventry, but they had, and Wayne could talk to this a little bit, they had some technical advantages that really surprised companies like Ferrari and Mercedes.
Well, I mean, there was a twin overhead cam engine, and making such great horsepower and torque. 12-cylinder cars just couldn't quite keep up with them almost, and it was really something to see. Aston Martin, the same type of thing, but yet Jaguar had an advantage, especially with the E-types, where the E-types had inboard brakes, independent rear suspension. They were way ahead of their time and beautiful at the same time.
Yeah. Yep.
Anything you'd like to add to that?
Well, I think having that lineage, the racing lineage, is obviously really important, and it helps to set it apart. And I always like the underdog story too. I like small companies that fight some of the bigger ones and really make a statement. And there's lots of examples of that out there. But I think that also adds to the story. Yeah.
When I was looking up, as a reminder, the number of times the Jaguar won at Le Mans, you have to look at 1988 when Tom Walkinshaw, the cars finished at the same time, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
And I was doing a little studying and saw a clip of Walkinshaw saying we had to do it that way because we weren't sure the car in the middle was going to make it. We figured if they'd lined up, we'd be able to push it over the line. I'm not sure what the French would have said.
Would have thought about that
They
one.
wouldn't have, we could pretty much be sure they wouldn't have liked it. So, favorite Jaguars. Which model do you guys like the best? I know it's like asking which of your children you like best, but it's a good question. What and what? Which car and why?
Well, I mean, for me, the XK120, and when you think about the design was merely a vessel for the motor. I mean, it really was astounding. And to have that kind of design out there and really grab your attention like that, I just think it's beautiful, and I love the way it drives. Certainly E-types and everything, but there's just something about the lines of the XK120 that speak to me.
I have many. I have an SS100. It was Dave Garroway's car, and that style of car, those beautiful swooping fenders and low profile. But then you get into the D types and the C
Yep.
types, and,
Yep.
and a D type. I mean, we've got one of the most fantastic Jaguars right out in the lobby there to look at, and that's a beautiful D type, just wonderful car. You know, race history.
Yeah.
And then of course, as I said earlier, 120 coupe.
Yep.
You know, with spats on it. Personally, I love XKEs in a coupe. So I love E-type
Yep,
coupes.
yep.
Just that look. I'm a hardtop guy. Even with convertibles, I own a Speedster, and I never put the top down on the Speedster. It's just the look of the car. And my 32 Fords, I always have tops up. So
Yep.
it's the look.
Yep. So,
So-
it's hard to, as you said, it's hard to pick one.
Well,
There's
it
so many good
is.
choices out there.
I remember, this is where you get to admit how old you are, standing in front of the Shoreline Liquor Store in Swampscott, Massachusetts in 1954, and a fellow named Francis Cahoon had a brand new XK120 with the split exhaust on one side, maybe one of the nicest exhaust notes of any car ever. And he came out with his little package of booze, I guess. He got in the car and he smiled at me and he said, and I can close my eyes and see it, he said, "Want to ride, kid?" And I couldn't believe it, that he had done that, and I jumped in, and off we went for a short drive, and I can still hear the exhaust in my head. It was a defining moment. But at the same time, and we showed a picture up there of Sir William Lyons in Geneva, for Jaguar's 40th anniversary, they had a press event where they allowed several of us to drive the two cars that had been driven overnight to the Geneva Motor Show, so Sir William Lyons could, and I'm not one of these license plate geeks who can rattle off the British plates, but you know the two cars I mean. And that people were gobsmacked. That's that wonderful word the British like to use when they're so surprised they can't speak. And that was the effect that car had. Road and Track's cover in 1961 has a blue background and a coupe and a roadster. And I can remember in my fraternity house when that magazine arrived. Don't do the math here, by the way. And just standing there and looking at the cover and thinking, can this really be a car? And of course it was. So, Wayne, we talked earlier, and I wanted you, because part of your business has been searching out and finding interesting cars. I have to believe you've got a Jaguar story or two.
Well, I mean, one of the ones was with Dave Garraway's car. So it was sold around. And Dave bought this car in the mid '40s, and he started racing it. And he raced it at Bridgehampton and Watkins Glen, and never could get the power he wanted. And so he sent it to Wacky Arnold in Chicago. They put a supercharger on it, still couldn't. So Dave is the most famous person in the
There
world
he
at
is
the
on the
time.
left, by the way.
Yeah, so that's the car. And so Dave's the most famous person because he's the first live television host ever on television. So he's live at the Today Show. And so he called Jaguar when the 120 came out, and he said, "I'd like one of those engines for my SS." And so he bought the engine. They sold him an engine and transmission, which are still in the car. And so that car was sitting at on the lawn at the Greenwich Concours. This was about 10 years ago. And Peter Kumar, who owns Going Motor Cars, had tried to sell me the car for months and months, and I said, "I don't really need it." Well, I walked on the field at 7 a.m. and I saw the car and I fell in love with it. I called Peter up and I said, "Okay, it's sold." While I'm standing there and talking about the car, and we're making a video for the TV show about it, and this guy walks up to me and he says, "Have you seen Peter Kumar today? I'm here to buy this car." I said, "Too late. About 2 hours ago, I bought it." And so he got upset at me. So we were at a show last weekend in New York, and we finally saw each other for the first time. And I said, "Are you still upset with me?" He says, "No, I'm really happy you have it, but if you do sell it, give me a call." So, but we used to find a lot of 120s in garages, and it was just such a thrill. And I always remember we made a bet with the lady that had this 120 Roadster, and I said, if we were sort of conflicting on the price I was willing to pay for the car, I said, "If I can get this car running in 10 minutes, will you accept my offer?" She goes, "Oh yeah, you're not going to get this car running in 10 minutes." filed the points, and we put some gas in the floats of the carburetors. We, didn't want to suck the gas out of the tank, and put a battery in it, hit the key, and it started right up in
Oh,
10,
wow,
not
wow,
even
wow.
5 minutes, and she goes, "Oh my God." I paid her what she wanted, though. It was only $1,000 a part, so it wasn't a big deal. But it's always a thrill finding a car, that's not been found.
Yeah.
It's been sitting for so
It
long.
still amazes me how people are still finding things.
I know it. But I saw your car tonight, and I
Yeah.
got to tell you, that's got to be one of the best original Jaguars in the world, by far.
Yeah.
It really is.
Thank you.
It really
Kim's
is.
the second owner of that car. Maybe
Yeah.
you'd tell us how you found it.
I'd love to talk about, so the original owner of the car, his name is Bernie Yurt. And he came back from the war, and he had always wanted to get one of those cars, and he did, and he bought it in Boston for $3,395. And he was just a great enthusiast. So he started, and the best thing I was telling Wayne, he was a pack rat. I love buying cars from pack rats, because even the original tags that were on the engine explaining like the different elements, I've got all of that stuff. He kept everything. And I have a copy of the original ad. He started the New England XK Association that is now Jane. So for all the Jaguar folks out there. And they had some original paperwork for him too that they allowed me to go up and photograph. But he kept it for a very long time. Unfortunately, he was sick and decided that he needed to sell it. No, unbelievably, no one in his family wanted the car. Wayne says he runs into that sometimes,
Yeah.
but he had actually sent it to a broker, and that's how we first found the car. And we were looking for a vehicle to do the Mille Miglia in, and I wanted to do it in an XK120. And so originally I was thinking black. Wayne likes black, as you've heard him a couple of times here. And you have this vision in your mind on what you want. And we saw an online photo of Bernie's car, and it doesn't look like much in a photo because it's all faded paint and everything else. We went and looked at it in person and was like, it's speaking to me. I have to have this car. This is the car. And if you've already had a chance to look at it, I mean, the interior, everything is original. In fact, there's a book on restoring XK120s, and the photography in it is all that car as a guide for it. So we bought it and the first thing we did was run the Mille Miglia in it. And I guess retrospectively, it's like, maybe that's not the best thing to do in an all original car. But the engine's never been apart. It drives fantastic. So we're so fortunate to be the second caretakers on it. It's been to Pebble Beach in the preservation class and won second in that class there. And it's been a national champion with the with the Jaguar Club, so it's been shown a lot at the different groups around there. And I just love getting out there and telling the story of that car. And I think just something that's original that hasn't been touched, and it's shown the wear of something, I just think is so special. So I'm very happy that Bernie and Audrey kept the car all that time.
So tell us what it was like to take a car that you hadn't driven much, if at all,
Yep.
not really knowing whether it would make close to 1,000 miles.
Yes, yes.
Tell us about it. Most of us, many of us, would love to do that.
Yeah.
What was it like?
Well, and I think, so we did a couple of things to the car that we reversed right afterwards to be able to run the Mille Miglia. Like, we took the original radiator out and put in an aluminum radiator, and then I had to put in an old-time kind of rally clock. I didn't want a modern rally clock, not in that car. So, the kind that you could hear the numbers clicking over, and it kind of became this rhythm while we were running the Mille Miglia. But the little grab handle, then it's on the XK120, so we removed that grab handle, and then in those same openings, those same screws, we put in the rally clock so we could just take it right out again. So you never fill any holes or drill any holes is always kind of the philosophy. But I didn't have a chance to drive it at all. Mitch arrived before arriving in Italy. So we just got in it and started driving around, and the XK120s, it's like, hello, there's the steering wheel. But you just started getting used to it, and then you started getting more aggressive with it. And one thing about, if anyone's had the opportunity to do the Mille Miglia, I don't think you could do it anywhere but Italy. You have the police are on motorcycles, and they help you create, a lot of times, third lanes. So you've got the regular lanes of traffic, but they open up and all the cars are able to go through. So it's a little hard when we came back to the States. Wait, I can't just go anywhere I want to. But people saw the car and it got a really good reaction. And what I loved about running the Mille in an open top car is you go into, oh yeah, there it is. You go into the little communities up in the mountains and everything, and you get to, interact with people because there's nothing holding you back. So it's a fabulous event. I definitely recommend it if anyone's able to do it. And XK120 is actually a pretty popular car to do it in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because it runs really well, and we had no mechanical issues with it whatsoever. Out of the box.
Very impressive.
Yeah, it's knock on wood somewhere.
And the headlights worked?
The headlights worked.
So Wayne, that's there's Kim's Jaguar experience. How about yourself? A particular Jaguar moment or car or experience or trip? I don't want to put you on the spot, but anything that comes to mind, a special
In a
event?
Jaguar?
Yes.
The one thing that actually comes to mind is that when the XKE first came out, one appeared at my father's shop. So Bill Diefendorfer was the president of Hamilton Standard, which was part of Pratt & Whitney Aircraft, and it was the propeller manufacturer. And he went to England and actually put one in one of the airplanes that was carrying airplane parts back to East Hartford, Connecticut, and they never tied it down properly. And it smashed the left front fender very hard. And of course, there was none in the country because there wasn't even any cars in the country. Sort of Bill snuck it in. And driving that car with my dad the first time, I was probably 10 years old. And it was just such a thrill to drive that car with him. And the sound and just the way you got in the car over the sills, just everything about it. So I think that was my best Jaguar experience when I was at 10 years old.
One of my favorite Jaguar stories has to do with Norman Dewis. Many of you probably know who Norman was. He was Jaguar's test driver in the years leading up to the E-Type. He's infamous for having crashed that XJ12, but he was so good that Sir William Lyons wouldn't let him race. He was too valuable as a development driver, and he had a million great stories. And the one he told me I never forgot. He talked about in 1953 going to the Jabeek Highway in Belgium, where Jaguar was going to try to set a world speed record for production cars. And if you've seen pictures of that car, it's black and it has a Perspex bubble that Norman was underneath. And he said this was a totally new development for them. And when he first made a run just to see how it would go, there was no air coming in, and when they pulled it in Lofty, England, I guess, pulled the bubble off, and Norman's face was totally red. He said, I almost couldn't breathe. And they said, well, we'll have to cut a hole then, won't we? And they did that. And he was sitting, in order to be as low as possible in the car, he sat on like a little squab, not really the seat at all. And he said to Lofty, who was 6 feet 5 inches tall, Norman was about maybe 5 feet on a good day. And Lofty said, Norman, you don't need to be able to see. You just need to be able to aim the car. Don't worry about it, mate. Just do that. And Norman said that he had been told to keep the revs no higher than 6,100. And that's what he was going to do. And I guess on the real record run, he said the engine sounded great, and so he crept up to 62 and even 6,300. There he is under this Perspex bubble, sitting on a hard wooden squab with a Jaguar roaring down this highway in Belgium. He pulled in, and there were long faces, he said, on everybody. Lofty England is shaking his head, and Norman said, how did I do? And they said, not very well. He said, I had to do well. I hit 6,300 RPM. And then they laughed and started to smile, and they said, you smashed it, mate, 170 miles an hour.
Yeah. You were talking about the sound of a Jaguar, and so I was on the California Mille, and I was driving my 27 Bentley 3-liter, and there was a D-Type on with us. And so we'd go to lunch every day. and I'd see the guy that was driving the D-Type, and I'd say, okay, let's get up and leave right now. And so we would take off before them because we wanted to hear it go by. You know, we'd be doing about 70 miles an hour, and here comes this D-Type, and he's doing like 120 and goes by. I said, oh, God, it's worth missing dessert just for that.
Well, now we're all telling stories about how wonderful these cars are. I had the benefit in 1977 of being the managing director of an American company in Sydney, Australia. Company car was an XJ6. XJ6s had challenges in Australia's heat, and this car, when it ran, it was absolutely wonderful. And my then wife and I would kind of not say when we got out to the car where we were going. We tried not to alert it or alarm it that it might be a real test. And for the entire 6 years I lived in Australia, there were occasional times when I got on the wrong side of the car because I'd been doing that all my life. But I'd have to say, and many of you have probably used the same phrase, when that car ran, it was just a sweetheart, and I would have another one in a moment. It was beautiful, and it was just a great car.
You were talking about XJ6, so my mother always wanted a red Jaguar. When I was growing up, I remember that. So it was probably when she was in her mid-70s, I found an XJ6 and I bought it for her. And she was just of the moon. A maroon XJ6, she loved it and stuff. She had it for about 6 months and pulled in the driveway of the shop one day, and she says, I've had enough. You can have it back now. Little did I know she was taking it to a local mechanic because she didn't want me to feel bad. And she just kept pouring money into that thing.
No.
And her wallet had it, not herself.
Oh, no.
So we sold it. But it's a great car, but they're quirky little things.
So Kim, one of the things I would like to ask, and I think a lot of our audience would enjoy hearing, from the Jaguar corporate point of view, marketing.
Yep.
Here's a group of folk who bleed Jaguar green, probably, and who are dedicated and loyal and love the cars. What does the company think of the club and the enthusiasts?
Well, so I was with the company just under 10 years, and I did a lot to reach out to the clubs, because I think you guys you're the keepers of the flame, I like to say, because you really care about the brand and you carry it forward, and just the turnout that you've had for this event and coming from all sorts of different states, I think it's wonderful. And I think one of the things that I was doing at the company, working with you guys, is, we had programs so that we could see where you guys were buying cars, because sometimes there's a feeling that clubs stay only with old cars and not new cars, and that was not the case at all. So I think it's important when you're part of an enthusiast group and you build a relationship with the manufacturer, to be able to share that this is not just looking in the back, it's about looking forward too. And I think that was important, just to have those facts and details. And that's where it's an important extension for any manufacturer. So whether it's Porsche or Jaguar or anybody, I think being associated with the enthusiast clubs is really important.
So we have a unique opportunity today. Think of yourselves as a big focus group. And we need a little help from Blake here. He has to go to one of these slides. Forgive me, we didn't rehearse this, but you all probably know this slide.
Don't change the slide. This is better to look at. What a fabulous car that is, huh? God.
Why can't I find it? Blake, can you hear me up there? We need your help with the contemporary sketch of the Jaguar.
The Type
There
00.
we go.
Oh,
Okay.
good job.
So, Blake is a whiz. So here is, as many of you know, Jaguar's new marketing theme: copy nothing, exuberant modernism. What do you all think?
Nobody's ordered one yet?
You can't.
So full electrification for Jaguar. Right strategy? No. Where I made a note here that Rolls-Royce is owned by BMW. Bentley, of course, is run by the Volkswagen Group. Jaguar's patrons are Tata
Yep.
in India.
Yep.
Is Jaguar British enough for today? Is this kind of what you think, where you think it should be going?
So you feel it's just the name that they're using and not the heritage? Yes. Okay. How many of you guys own vintage Jaguars? How many of you guys own vintage and newer Jaguars? All right, so there's
Yep.
quite a few.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's.
How many of you out of that would buy this car?
Oh, there's a hand up there.
All
So-
right.
So tell us a little
We
bit
got
about
another one.
Yeah.
what you like. We got a microphone up there, Bruce?
You know, I think that sometimes, for instance, when the new Rolls-Royce came out. Oh, okay.
I didn't hear what you said.
Trying to embarrass her dad.
When the new Rolls-Royce came out, I couldn't stand them, but I sort of like them now.
Yeah.
You know, the shape, it sort of looked cartoonish at the time. I think we all sort of get used to things, but I don't know about this myself.
See, we knew she wanted to tell us.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's the key, is that
Yes.
it's not going to look like this. It's really.
No, this is the concept car.
It's-
Really, if you think about it, the XK120 was very radical to the S.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
The way XK120 was very radical, and the E-Type was very radical to the XK120.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
And the XJS was as radical to
Yeah.
the E-Type.
So I don't know if you guys are hearing. It's just I'm sorry. What's your name?
I'm Mark Mayuga. I'm the president of the Jaguar Clubs of North America.
There. Very good to meet you. So he was just talking about, I don't know if everyone could hear, just the different iterations in Jaguar's history. When a new model comes out, it is a radical departure sometimes from its predecessor. Yeah, and I think what's important, and this was all done after me, but I don't work there anymore, so I can share.
You're not
Likely,
gonna- you're not gonna-
likely story. I had nothing
You're not
to do
gonna
with
take
I
the
had
blame
nothing to do
for
with it. No. I do think this model is the most important concept car in the 90-year history of Jaguar, because the strategies that are being done will determine whether Jaguar continues to exist as a marque. So this is important, and I completely agree that whether it's a 120 or an E-Type or all the ones that we can mention, those grabbed your attention. This grabs your attention. Now you have to separate, from my perspective, the TV commercial that preceded the viewing of this vehicle. Because I think that was, I don't know what was going on there, but, so,
That was, what I understand was that was supposed to really have been shown for the Art Week in Miami.
yeah,
I talked to Brandon about that, and he said we should have prefaced the fact that that was going to be the Miami ad
yeah.
for the automobile.
Yeah, I think from my perspective, I think when you're trying to reposition a marque, you have to be able to show the proof as part of that repositioning. So just to put repositioning out there without any vehicle or anything, I think left, as we all know, what the reaction was to that. Now, some people, if you think any publicity is good publicity, that certainly gave a share of voice that Jaguar never had before. But I think it was execution aside, I think it was ill-timed, and it should have had the proof, which this is the proof of what that new direction is. So we can certainly debate that. I think all in on electric maybe sounded good when that was first discussed in a boardroom, but the world has moved past that point. So I think it's going to be a difficult road, and they don't have anything to sell right now, as everyone knows, and this will not be on the market, well, this is the concept car, but whatever production version until 2026. And it's a completely different strategy from what Jaguar has done in the past. This is about low volume. The entry price will be $120,000 is what I've read. So it's completely polar opposite, 180 degrees from mass market, getting more people into Jaguars. So it is a bold move from the company, but they're trying to figure out what's the right formula to keep the marque alive in a compelling way and not just be a version of some other existing brand. So. Yes, I would.
Well, I think that's the future. That's
Yeah.
what they're looking for is,
Yeah.
is a new clientele now.
Hold on.
Yeah.
If we'd like to start the Q&A now, we can pass out the microphone so everybody can hear what everybody's asking. So
You ready
if
for
we
that,
wanted to
Ken?
do that, we can go ahead and get started. Okay. All right. We have 2 microphones. Just hold up your hands, and we will bring you the microphone so everybody can hear what you're saying.
Oh, is that one working?
Hi, I just wanted to. My name is Fazal Carter. I'm from the Jaguar Car Club of in Australia. We understood that the Chinese conglomerate had bought Jaguar from the Tata Group, and I was just wondering if you had any news or word or.
No, it's still Tata owned. I haven't heard anything other than that.
All right, there was an article that came out, and don't ask me the name of the company, the Chinese company, but they were going to continue to build it in England, but definitely it's going to start having sort of like MG,
Oh, yes.
but
yeah.
not taking the factory across. So you don't know.
No, my understanding is it's still Tata owned. I haven't heard anything about it being sold. Have you? You've spoken to Brandon, yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
I have a historical question. My name is Bruce Thomas. I live in Calhoun, just up the road, and I have an early E-Type that has a Warren Pierce engine. It was taken to the UK in the 60s, and this engine was built in 1969. And I'm wondering if our panel has any knowledge about this man, Warren Pierce. He was a mod sports racer, and he was briefly profiled in E-Type End of an Era, the book there.
No, nothing I've heard of. But, a lot of people put hot-rodded engines in a lot of cars.
Okay, one up here.
I'm Ron Redpath. I'm kind of new to Jaguars in the last few years, but I'm really disappointed that they drank the Kool-Aid and made this commitment to electric, and I think that's going to kill it.
Yeah. Just repeating, just the commitment to electric is a mistake.
The market didn't buy it. And they
No, and certainly the U.S. has been slower on the adoption of EVs, and there's a lot of mandates trying to push consumer behavior in a certain way that have obviously now been reversed. So, the market will determine it. We all want it to survive. We want good competition out there. So, we will see.
Yeah, I mean, forget what it's in.
Yeah.
But to say it's 100% EV and we're going to be a premium product instantly, you got to earn it.
Yep. Agree.
I think a lot of things were said, but what happens when they show the car for the first time is what reality is going to be, which is more than likely a crossover or something. Who the heck knows? But it could be a electric battery car with an engine too. So.
Yeah, because they're obviously seeing
ICE and electric.
Yeah, exactly. They're seeing as a company what's going on. But I mean, I'm sure you guys are aware too. They had the cyber attack on the company, so they're not doing. They've shut down right now. That's supposed to go through October 1st, and they're losing something like $68 million a week with that, and they did not have insurance against a cyber attack. So they've got a lot on their plate.
Hi, my name's Tony Marigold. I'm over from the UK. I can answer the gentleman from Australia.
Oh, yeah.
I'm fortunate. I live 10 miles from Gaydon, which is where Jaguar is. I volunteer 1 day a week at the Heritage Trust Museum there.
Okay.
And I'm fortunate that we get Jaguar execs coming to our local club meetings. One of those is the guy called Ken McCulloch, who's the global PR director. And in our local meetings, we've asked the questions that you're all asking.
Oh, yeah.
Tata have no intention, so I'm repeating Ken's words here. Tata have no intention of selling and have not sold Jaguar to the Chinese or to anyone. JLR as a company, actually a couple of months ago, before the cyber attack, different rules, they have paid off all of their debt. They are completely debt-free. Their view of the new car, and I'm not the target market for it, I accept that, is they're going to go up the market value and hence up the profit, but down the volume number.
Right.
And their view, obviously, for the management is that's the way to go. They never made money in the volume premium market, so you either go up and make money or you go out of business. And their view is they're going up to make money, whether we like it or not, unfortunately.
By the looks of the design of the car, they're sort of, I think, trying to compete with Rolls-Royce in a way, like a large sedan.
Yeah, they've said their target market is sort of Bentley and around that price point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right, that car you've seen up there is the concept. I saw that last Sunday in blue, not in pink. I like the side, I like the back, I don't like the front. I was fortunate enough to take one of my cars on their test track on Sunday, and I was doing 80 miles an hour. I was overtaken at great speed by one of their prototypes of the new car, which is a 4-door GT. Sadly, it was all in camouflage with all sorts of stuff on it, and it went past me so fast I didn't get a good look at it, so I can't give you an accurate description of it. But they are building and testing the prototypes. They reckon they know what they're doing, and it's above my pay grade to comment further.
Thank you for that insight.
In 1949, Sir William Lyons was intent on building sedans, but he had the XK engine that he wanted to introduce to the world. The result, serendipitously enough, was the 120. Mm-hmm. My hope is that the company is going to be open to and pay attention to the potential for serendipity with regard to their new electric car.
Yeah.
Regarding the concept car we're looking at, I think in my situation, I'm 75, my son is 45. My son has always said, Dad, your 67 XKE is in the will for me, right? And recently, I showed him the concept car. There's a picture. And he was, wow. It's a generational thing. He didn't know it was electric or gas, but he says, wow. He would rather have what he saw, that concept car, than what he's wanted for years versus my XKE. So it's a generation. We're sitting here, and we're all seniors, and we don't want to change. We love what we have. And that's the problem Jaguar's got. Whoever owns them is who's going to buy the car.
I think there's a lot of room there, though. You look at Duesenbergs, like you saw today. I mean, those are coveted cars. Those are things that people want. They're pieces of art, and I think you guys have pieces of art, and the cars will still be there. Hopefully your son doesn't trade it in on one of the new ones.
Hey,
but
he's going to have to sign something that he can't.
Yeah, he's got to keep it in the family, right?
One of my grandkids will get
it. My grandson's trust, he's got a lot of cars in his trust, and he can't sell them until he's 35 years old. So that's what you got to do.
Jaguar has the same challenge as, let's say, Mercedes-Benz or BMW.
Oh, maybe move your mic up a little bit on the side. Yeah. Oh, nope. It's not, test it again.
Am I using the Lucas one? Or is that working? Yes. Yeah, I think it is. Yep. So, Mercedes and my point really, and BMW, they have evolved over the years, and they continue to evolve with a modern, contemporary design. When Mike Dale was the president of Jaguar North America, a wonderful man, we tried to get him to come here, but he's in his 90s, so it's difficult to travel. But I'll never forget when we were looking at some new models, and he looked at Mercedes and particularly BMW, and he said, the Germans make sausage, and they just make it in different lengths. We try to do something that's a lot more design, we want our designs to be exciting and memorable. And I never forgot that he said that.
Yeah, yeah.
A comment, question here, folks. Eric Hagopian from Jaguar Association of New England. So thank you for coming and presenting tonight. Off the topic of new cars, I'm a serial Jaguar collector. I'm making the admission tonight. So, but in all seriousness, I've got a car. From a value perspective, I'm questioning what to do with it. So it's among a handful of other cars, including a bunch of E-types. I've got a '64 Roadster that is an original paint. Car's been mechanically restored, runs and drives great. Curious, what do you guys think about from a value perspective? Does it make sense to keep that car the way that it is? It's not straight. Like that beautiful 120, Kim. So meaning that it has the door dings and it's just got rash, but it's kind of cool.
Well, it's got the cool factor, and that's why you keep it that way. It's got the cool factor. If you restore that car, you're going to be so overboard with value. Unfortunately, and I hate to say it to all you guys, but the Jag market has taken a nosedive in the last couple of years. And
I'm
a
aware.
terrible nosedive. I mean, we used to sell beautiful E-types for $350,000 to $400,000. We can't get $175,000 for the same car today. So when you're thinking about doing that, and you've got multiple Jaguars, you got to have one funky, really cool car, and original cars are the best. So don't go overboard and spend your money. Just have fun with it.
We've got one up here at the top.
Thank you. Jeff Killip here. One question going to Jaguar seems to be changing its market point, going way upscale. What is going to happen to the support of everybody here that has the older Jags? Are they just going to be dropped? I mean, is it that bad, or is there still going to be support from the factory to keep these classic roadsters, classic cars on the road?
Well, I think that you're not seeing a lot of support from the factory now. That's
Yeah.
long gone. But what you have is a cottage industry, especially over in England, and that's their bread and butter. That's not going away. They'll make parts for these things until the cows come home.
Yeah,
So,
other people have stepped in to fill that void.
and that's the cottage industry, especially in England. I mean, there's so many small shops making certain components for these cars. So I think that's not going away. As far as the factory goes, they've forgotten about you a long time ago, unfortunately.
Just a question about the new car. I mean, 120,000 is not really upscale for a limited production car. I would think of Aston Martins and stuff.
I read that was the starting price for the new ones. So we'll see what the reality is, but just in terms of what's been reported.
I just don't see that being a success in what's already an overcrowded market at 100K. So I wanted to get your opinion.
Well, I think that's where ultimately the design of the car and what it's offering is important. Putting electric aside for a moment. I mean, just similar to the thought that you had shared before too. I mean, great design equals desire. I mean, I saw that XK120, I wanted it. You guys have seen an E-Type, you want it. I mean, it's just, so hopefully, obviously because we want the company to be successful, that's going to be a design that's going to appeal to people and they're going to want it. And it's going to be a package that is going to make sense. But that's what I read was the entry starting price. So I imagine when it's caveated like that, there's not going to be a lot at that price or any.
Jaguar owners, I've been a Jaguar driver for 60 years plus. I've owned probably close to 35 Jags in my life. And one thing I can say about Jaguar owners, and please applaud if you agree, Jaguar owners are incurable romantics. We love the...
There you go.
We love the femaleness of these automobiles. They look like women that we, as young gentlemen, fantasize about. I know I still do in my old age of 78. But I get excited, but I forget why, but when I do see a Jaguar, I have to say I get excited, and I know why.
Yeah.
I think that as the gentleman from the Heritage Trust just mentioned, I think the new generation, us old farts, we are that group that were so in love with the 120 that we went out and bought E-types, okay?
Yeah.
I think there is a segment of the market coming up that lust after F-types and XKs, and I think they will see the new car and they will consider that as an option. There are 40-somethings nowadays that can afford a $120,000, $150,000 car, no problem.
Yeah.
I think Jaguar has got it right. The prototype car looks like an old airline Jaguar, if you recall that, Kim.
Yes.
That's really what I think was their inspiration. I think the new car will probably be as innovative as the E-Type or the XJS was. And I think that as old Jaguar faithful that we are, we also have to realize that we embraced an automobile company that was based on innovation.
Yeah.
And William Lyons was a pragmatic businessman, and he knew a good thing, you know, and he knew how to market his automobile. And he was very sensational when he had Clark Gable and Walter Pigeon and Dave Garroway drive, you know, these automobiles. By the way, does that car still have the ostrich interior?
Alligator.
Oh,
yes.
the alligator, I mean, yeah.
I restored it, and I put, but there was no alligators harmed.
Oh, good. Yeah, good, good.
It's cowhide that looks like alligator.
You know, I remember living in D.C. and watching the Today Show with Garroway, and every now and then you'd see him pull up in that automobile.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
So
at Watkins Glen, he was in a support race in I think it was 1958 or 9, something like that. And he was on the pole, and it was a Le Mans start. He jumped in the car, and he popped the clutch. He had left it in reverse.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Backed up,
Oh,
got passed by
no.
about 10 cars. And
I was lucky enough to work on Mel Torme's SS100 in Encino, and he had more stories about that car and all the young ladies that would jump into his car in Hollywood, you know. But getting back to it, I think Jaguar owners, yeah, we are a little shocked by what we saw in that ad, and we were shocked by the pink and the the rose-colored and the blue card that we saw. But I think we'll calm down, as we always do, and we'll carry on, and we'll sop up the oil spots on the driveway, and we'll look forward to the next generation of the automobile. And I think we will be pleasantly surprised, as we were when the E-Type came out.
Yeah.
When you began speaking, my thought was that you were going to say feline.
Oh.
And I guess my thinking and wish for Jaguar is that the feline, the cat-like quality, is something that we will see once again with these new cars. That's always been kind of the underlying message for Jaguars.
Yeah.
I mean, Sir William
Ian
Lyons
certainly talked about that a lot too.
He didn't name it a lion.
well, I always wondered that. Why did name it Lion? But
Well, actually, the Jaguar is the name of the engine.
right.
It's not the actual model of
was
the
the
automobile.
SS engine.
Yeah, it was an SS engine,
Right.
right. And, the English had this thing about Jaguar engines, Centauri engines, Berlin engines.
Right.
That was their thing.
Right.
But, yeah.
So I think, first of all, thank you all for coming. We know from previous experience here we can continue talking, chatting, theorizing, but it's probably time to end this. Thanks so much for coming. We wish you a great event tomorrow. We hope that you're impressed with what you see here at the Savoy. And again, glad to have you here.
How many people are first-time visitors to the Savoy? Isn't this a wonderful place?
Yeah.
This is just fantastic.
Yeah, yeah.
Great. So thanks to you, and Wayne, thank you. Kim, thank you very much. Good night, everyone.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you, everybody. See you tomorrow.